All right, we'll get started. We have one regular bill left, which is Senate Bill 74. And if you remember, this is the bill that directs agencies who issue permits to write an annual report on permits that are late or that have taken a significant amount of time to process. And so I have a proposed amendment to this bill. So I guess I'll move my amendment 2282H.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. All right. And so what this amendment does is, it's replacing the whole bill. But if you remember the original bill, when a permit was late, it wanted a report on every single permit individually, what was going on with it, why was it late, and all this sort of stuff. And, that could be into, dozens of pages. And so we decided to make it only a summary report. So what this amendment does is the reporting is only by category. So you'll have the number of permits that took more than 60 days, more than 120 days, or more than 180 days to complete. And secondly, we'll have a summary of, for the ones that are more than 60 days, how many are being delayed because there's engineering work that needs to be done, or there's field work that needs to be done, or just there's a whole backlog, or for whatever reason. So there'll be a summary of reasons of why each permit is late. And then the other thing we did was we changed the date of the first report to April 30th, 2027. So therefore, they don't have to go back into the files and create a report for stuff that has already happened. They can start collecting this data going forward. Hi.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Right. I didn't know.
That's
if you
okay
were
to
in
me.
Division 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry. Mr.
Welcome, Representative Wallner to Division 1. All right. So anyways, so that's what the amendment has two things, right? It changes the individual reporting to summary reporting and pushes back the date so that all the reporting will be on new stuff, not going back in the files and finding things. Yes, Representative Miles.
So the April 30th date, that is the date of the first report, April 30th of 2027?
It's the date the report's due. The
Okay.
report is on an annual basis. So the 2026 report has to be ready by April 30th of 2027, if you see what I mean.
Okay, so it would only, the first report would only cover May 1st of 26 through April 30th of
No,
27?
it covers all calendar year 2026,
Okay. That,
right? 2026, January 1st to December 31st, right?
Is that here, is that laid out here somewhere? Because I don't see that. That's the reporting period. I don't see annual. Oh yeah, here. On the previous calendar year's permitting activity. Okay.
Yeah,
It says the previous calendar year's
there
permitting
you go.
activity.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Okay, yes, Representative Ron.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When we had the discussion at our last meeting regarding this bill, one of the concerns that was that I raised was the fact that some of the applications may not be user-friendly and may get kicked back. Would capturing that information, whether the application isn't completed correctly, lacks the information, or the application didn't ask specifically for certain kinds of information, would that be captured in line 23? Other reasons appropriate for the permit?
Right, and they may have to, well, so at least theoretically, the thing being measured as being delayed is from an administratively complete application, right? So if you're saying that the yes, so maybe administratively complete means all the boxes are checked, right? And all the pieces of paper are there, but maybe some engineering data isn't quite right or something. So then they have to go back to the person and say, give me another measurement or something. And then, yes, that could be another reason why, waiting for the applicant to, give us this new data or something like that.
Because I know when DES was questioned, they said that they are reviewing their applications, that they do know that the confusion of their application format has been leading to incomplete applications. And I just want to make sure that we capture any applications that are rejected or delayed because of that, because it may be that the actual format of the application needs to become more user-friendly.
Sure. And you're right. I mean, I think if it turned out that there were a lot of others, right, a lot of back and forth waiting for applicant or something like that, then, yeah. Representative Griffin.
That basically is, my concern is the administratively complete isn't defined. To me, I would think administratively complete is whatever was requested in the application form is there.
Yeah.
Some issue that comes up after that, to me, is beyond the completion of the application. Maybe it needs to get answered, but it shouldn't extend the time.
Yeah, that's the way I read it also.
Okay.
Yeah. Other questions, points? Representative Ebel.
I thank you for the amendment, Mr. Chair. I think it's a tremendous improvement over what we had before. I like the fact that you've pushed out the report date to 2027. I think it's going to give the agencies an opportunity to do more work in-house. And I also like the way you've set up the report, because I think that we're going to get more useful information out of it than the way it had been originally set up. My understanding is you've also reviewed this with the agencies and they're fine with this amendment.
Yeah, DES and DOT working together came up with the basic structure of this. After what they finished, we changed the date to be later than they had. I think they just missed that fact. And then I added that reasons sentence at the very end there. So, yeah, so this is effectively what they gave us. Yes. Representative Munson.
I agree. I mean, I think this amendment is a better, makes for a better bill. And I will be voting for the amendment, but I'm still not going to vote for the bill.
Okay.
For the reasons that I cited last week. I think it's unreasonable to ask agencies and departments whose budgets we have cut rather drastically to now take on an additional task that they don't have any money for. So that would be I think it, as I said last week, I think it's something that needs to be done. I wish it had been brought forward as part of the budgeting process. And if it's brought forward again next term, I would be enthusiastically in support of it.
Okay. All right. So I mean, part of this was the reason we're making changes is to eliminate those numbers that were in the fiscal note, right? So, yeah. All right. Can we have a show of hands on the amendment? Yeah. All those in favor? Looks unanimous. No, nobody opposed. Okay. And then when the clerk's ready, anybody else want to speak? No. Clerk's ready, you can call the roll on ought to pass with amendment. Turn on your,
Sorry. The motion is ought to pass as amended on Senate Bill 74 FN. Representative Cambrils.
Yes.
Representative Griffin.
Yes.
Representative Sweeney's absent. Representative Weiler.
Yes.
Representative Ebel.
Yes.
Representative Wallner.
Yes.
Representative Munns.
No,
And the clerk votes yes. The motion.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chair. I know. Okay. 2, 4, 6. Motion passes 7-1.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to meet as in the full committee on a week from tomorrow, Wednesday at 10 a.m. And we'll exact this bill and the others. What? Oh, he's got something. Oh, yes. So, right, why don't you hand, yeah. So this, we have one Senate message related to this division, House Bill 67. And I don't know, I don't remember this one too well, actually.
We remember, didn't this one have $100,000 in it? Is this the one that had $100,000 in it and we took the money out?
We heard from the Secretary of State, and they said that they were going to cover all the money with their internal funds.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but this,
And so therefore, we just passed it, right? So, and we didn't put any money in the budget for it because it wasn't
So it
necessary.
would replace all, and it, yeah.
Okay, but the main thing is,
but look at the fiscal note, Mr. Chair.
well, that's from the original House bill, right?
Well, it says 5525.
As amended by the House. Yeah.
Correct. There's no updated fiscal note.
Okay.
I spoke with the Secretary of State. She said that the Senate, as amended by the Senate, it remains the same, but they'll pull all the money from the election fund. So there's no general funds involved.
Do we know what the change was that they made?
It was a replace all, and it specified the duties of the municipalities during different elections.
It was on the consent calendar.
Yeah, it was
That's my
25-0 in House Finance.
I mean, I
This, on line 12, which is part 2, and then on line 26, in that same section, it says, you know, the city or town clerk shall bear the cost of programming for state and federal elections. So this sends it back to the town, which some will
So
argue it's a 28A issue.
Representative, you are correct. There still will be a cost to the municipalities as
Yeah.
well.
And there's a,
But I think that's normal, right? The towns do pay for putting the names on the ballot and programming their machines, right?
so what is the change that the Senate made?
So the Senate did a replace all amendment, and then their floor amendment was just putting in what the House put in with the date for the pilot program. Because they initially took that out, and then you see Senator Gray had a floor amendment, so that's what the date is on the bottom there. Keeping the House's position.
changing the date there on line 28.
So, thanks to the magic of technology, I did reach our ranking member on election law, and she said what was what they had to do was they fixed the effective dates. And she said it's a bipartisan bill backed by the Secretary of State, no additional funds needed. So,
Yeah.
basically,
So I guess I have to go to the chairman of election law and let him make the concurrence.
no, I'm sorry, but I was trying to understand what they changed, Mr. Chair. I
Yeah.
hope you
No,
don't
but
think that was, okay.
But
I'm
the
sorry.
fact that two different committees have to concur,
But I guess if the bottom line is if we're looking at the finance part of it, it sounds like there's no
no money.
so
Yeah.
we can still be good to go.
Yeah. So I think you and he can just decide, leave it up to him, right? Because anything substantive.
No
has-
objection from this group.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
Okay, anybody else want to wait? No.
I got together with election
give
law
him that.
chair.
Okay. All right, we will see you on Wednesday. Thank you.